Hi, I'm Fred. Today, we're going to build something that you don't need to build when you're on Java, but can be handy here on Bedrock. That's an automated concrete mixer thingy, powder to concrete blocks. Listen, names are hard, you figure it out. Now, this could be much like my award-winning mud farm. I mean, it hasn't won any awards, but it really should. It's pretty cool. And that it builds a 12 by 12 by 12 block of concrete you have to break by yourself. I mean, I guess you could use creepers or gas or TNT, but you're going to lose some blocks that way. Now, because it's so big and I need to build it here so I still have the haste effect, I'm going to dig down because I don't want to put it up in the air. My initial plan is to put it up in the air, but I don't want to block all of this mall. And that way it'll also be easier to get to the top of the block to break it down. Now, if you want to build this at home, you need various materials. Probably not the warped planks, that was for a different design, but you will need like 5 stacks of observers and 2.5 stacks of pistons. Everything else here is kind of optional. And you'll need a few more things, which we'll go through once we get to that point. Set up your bartering farm and get that going first so you can get all of the quartz you need. Because, yeah, a lot. Something we've learned recently is that Juggerite can't see giant holes around, so I put a sign up just for him. Don't want him falling in or anything. Or digging another hole right next to this one for no apparent reason. And this is the kind of thing you have to expect when you're on a server with a bunch of mole people. I was hoping I wouldn't run into any of these weird little tunnels and caves that people have found, but I guess at least it's pretty lit. Okay, giant pit done. Now, if you want to do this pit style, which you don't have to, then you don't need to dig it as deep as I did, unless you're going to put in the collection system, which admittedly isn't going to be that helpful, but it's kind of neat and it's easy and we might as well do it. I mean, what's 2.5 stacks of hoppers and mud between friends? And honestly, if you want to put in the collection system after you build the maker machine farm thing, you can do that too. That's what I did when I was designing it. Chest for collection right here, and then comes all the hoppers. Now, in order to make sure that we're collecting a bunch of stuff as fast as we can, we're going to interweave 2 different hopper lines throughout the space. So all these, it starts here and it goes all the way there, back, loops around. Now this line will do the exact opposite. It'll loop that way down through these channels and then end up at this back corner. There we go. A gross of hoppers. That's 12 squared, 144. Well, plus the 2 here. Okay, now we put a mud block on top of each one of these hoppers. Now, if you don't have a mud farm set up, like we don't, you can't just put dirt on this and then turn it all into mud with bottles. I wish I had done that rather than doing this manually because that would have saved me several steps and lots of time. But I didn't think about it until right before I started this process. And the reason we use mud, of course, is that it's not a full block so the hoppers can pick it up straight away. Also doesn't instantly break when you're using a pickaxe with your haste, which is going to be an issue when you're breaking concrete above it. Now we want to put that there. If you will not be using this collection system, or if you did not dig down too far and need to fill in a bunch of spot with a bunch of flooring, then you're going to want to dig out 13 different holes, and I'll show you where in relation to everything else. So these 13 orange terracotta is going to be the pits we need to dig out. There'll also be some temporary digging for observer placement, although I won't have to worry about that. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes. This block will be where you're standing to place in your concrete powder. I'm going to put this there so we can open the chest. So this is going to be pistons, just regular pistons facing up. You'll also need a few wall blocks, 2, 3, I can't remember. Let's start with 2. And some redstone, and a repeater, and a bunch of other stuff you'll see. Yes, I know I could have done all this ahead of time. I didn't feel like it. So another thing about mud is that you can actually put redstone on it, and the redstone doesn't stop you from collecting your materials. Don't ask too many questions. Just accept the Minecraft logic. And right here, we want a wall, one of our observers, and there we go. When all these pistons get covered with concrete blocks, that will change the form of this wall, which triggers the observer, which sends a redstone pulse, pushing the pistons up and therefore pushing the blocks up. Basically, this farm machine, whatever you want to call it, pushes blocks around a lot. It's very pushy. The concrete former pusher. That doesn't sound right either. We'll come up with a name, don't worry. This next part is very annoying, but it's also expensive. I definitely suggest using scaffolding for this. We need to skip 2 spots, so 1, 2, and we're going to build a wall of, once again, a gross or 144 observers. They all have to face down, but the bottom row of observers need to be 2 blocks up from the ground level. So I put a stack of 13 scaffolding up here, and then I'll create a row of temporary blocks going across. And I'll use that to start putting my observers in. Whoa, or walking off the edge. Whatever. Dang it. There we go. You can't really do this if the ground is right here at this level. So now that those are in, I can put in the rest of my floor. Okay, dubious floor in. I mean, the floor is not dubious. I should say the floor of questionable taste is in. It's very 60s in here. And now we just need to put an observer in front of every single one of these. Just like that. 144 more. I did say this wasn't cheap, right? Yeah, I said that. Then go ahead and remove any temporary blocks you still have up here. And now, you're going to love this. Now we put a piston in front of each one of these. Like that. Huh. Apparently this farm generates pork, too. Now you also need to build a little bit of a circuit up here. Just that, and that, and that. And then we run redstone all on top of this. And we put our other fence here. And I think you see how that works. It's just neat. Once this first line gets all the way up here, and something gets... Here, watch this. It's going to change into one of those little 4-poster things. Well, probably a 2-poster. But the top of the concrete gets to here, and 2 pulses go out. Why 2 pulses? Because observers. Don't worry about it. It won't break anything. It's fine. It'll just make it twice as loud. Oh, hey, look. This farm also produces beef. Weird. We will also need exactly 1 stairs. Hey, you want to hear something funny? I'm about to build this turned around the other direction. Well, I ain't tearing it all down now. And the reason I wanted to turn around the other direction was just so the haste is all the way there. Because it stops off right about here. But you know what? That's fine. You get those last 2 drops in. It'll be good. It'll work. It'd have been better if I had, done it the way I meant to do. And so I had it in my head, but then I changed my mind, and then I forgot I changed my mind. Just, it happens. And honestly, at this point, the rest just builds itself. That's not true. You do have to keep building it. But you can do it with brain and not have to worry about design. Let's see how brain work. So over this thing, we want to put in an upside down stair. Then we want to block it off on these 2 sides because we're going to waterlog it. And that's what the hole's for, just to stop the water from going anywhere. And then here we need to build our classic timer thingy. Clock. It's not really a timer, is it? It's a clock. Put this here, put this here, put this here. And it's clickety, clickety, clickety. So you turn that off. Then you get another piston, put that there. And we're done. See, that was quick. You weren't even paying attention. It's like, whoa, hey, how are we done already? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, while we're technically done, let's put in a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. An improvement to make it easier. This way we'll automatically get refilled on our concrete. Because remember, when you're building a 12 by 12 by 12 block of any block, it takes up an entire chest worth of supplies. So if you fill this chest with 1,758, I think it is, concrete powder, turn it on, you can build up to your entire block, you're ready to go. Now I'm prepared with exactly 0 concrete powder, which is odd because I'm making a concrete farm machine converter thingy. But I was focused more on, so many observers and pistons. All right, let me go get some concrete. And that's the building done. It's actually quite a bit taller than it needs to be on the outside, but it all works out because of lighting and everything. As you can see, it's concrete. And we go through the main entrance here. And you can see we have steps down to the floor. We also have this spot up here. So this is designed so when this giant block... Wow, why am I taking damage? Who's hurting me? What's happening? God, this game is annoying. Who knows what kind of phantom jump I did 20 minutes ago to deserve that. Anyway... Well, this entire thing of concrete is built up the cube. You can walk across this little bridge to get onto it and break it down. As you can see, we've got nice little lighting up here. Without the lighting, creepers will spawn on this. Don't ask me how I know. And all this is, obviously, is, fences with carpet on top. Covered these two sections of the walls with trap doors. That's to remove the problem of breaking the walls when you're tearing down your giant concrete cube. Anyway, this is what an industrial farm should look like. This is industrial. Got our walkway overhead. Got our steps. Got our decorative doors. Okay, maybe that's not too industrial. You ever be driving around and you see some buildings that looks like you can just climb onto from the hill next door? This one you totally can. Now, as far as these stripes here, which we can see from the inside, of course, I don't know why. Just a little sporty little feature. Kind of gives it that 70s edge. Like, the inside of the building was built in the 60s. They left it like that. But the outside, they redid it in the 70s. So it's really nice. All right, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. Build yourself a concrete converter on your world, or don't. I don't use a lot of concrete because it is annoying to create and to convert. And a lot of times it's small enough amounts where, I just tower up and pour water down. Of course, that's what killed Juggerite. I'll be fine. Be sure to check out the rest of the Forever Bedrockers. Links are in the description. I'll catch everyone later.